preparing for our feedback and our Q&A here, we want to ask, what can WLI do for you? How can we work together? How can we help you with your wetland education work? So first we'll look at what we already do, and then we'll talk a little bit about what's coming for the future. So we do these webinars. We intend to continue, and if you'd like to see more of it, let us know. Our plan is to run 3 a year, or if you like, 1 a year in 3 languages. So something similar to this, similar themes and topics is coming up in French and Spanish over the next month or so. What we also have is the WLI website, weli.org.uk. Now we relaunched it last year, and we do update it regularly. On that page, if you're a WLI member, you will have a member profile. Because we relaunched it last year, I think some things went missing. We have some old content. So please have a look for your own Wetland Centre profile on the WLI website. If it needs an update, let me know and I'll do it for you. It's a shop window where you can show off what you do, but also you can have a look at what other WLI members do and see if maybe they have skills or experience in a certain area where you could get in touch with them and maybe learn from their experience. On the website, we also have resources which you can check out. And we also have our newsletter, which I think probably you've already seen, but have a look at the WLI newsletter. We've always made them as printable PDFs, and this year for the 30th anniversary, we did them up to look like the very first WLI newsletter, which was from 1991, so sort of retro, old style. That won't last, don't worry. We have them, not just the PDF that you can download, there's also a new web version where you can just click through and you don't need to use a PDF at all. So these are the tools that we already use, and why we're doing this is we hope that you can connect with each other and share best practice. So we were also sort of connecting you to the Ramsar Convention, because WLI actually is helping implement the Ramsar Convention. There's a resolution on CEPA, Communications, Education, Participation and Awareness, which WLI is charged with implementing and helping implement. And that's why we do this for, as a free thing. And so we hope to connect your on-the-ground work, your local work with that. If we look at what we have coming up, we also have, we're thinking about how we can do a small grant scheme. Now that's very early planning stage. We're not ready with it yet, but we're thinking about it. And then a little bit, closer to fruition, we have a new member of the team at WLI. So right at the beginning of this webinar, you met Anna Wilson. So we're going to meet Anna now and find out a little bit about, well, what we're going to do. Anna, morning.
Good morning, Connor.
Can you tell us about yourself and what you can do or offer for wetland centres?
Certainly. It's probably easiest to sort of tell you a little bit about my background and how I came to be at WWT at all. So yeah, I'm Anna Wilson. I've been a principal consultant at the Wildfowl and Wetlands Trust for nearly 5.5 years. But before joining WWT, I spent over a decade working in a variety of museums and heritage organisations across the UK. So not just in wetlands, quite often in places with a strong natural link. So I began my career at a place called Creswell Crags, which is an Ice Age gorge and cave site. So giving cave tours, leading educational programmes, running visitor services. But I haven't just been, like I say, nature. I was at Shakespeare's birthplace for a few years, creating temporary exhibitions and online media, and also worked at some of our national museums here in the UK, like the Natural History Museum and the British Museum. And I came to WWT 5 years ago now as a principal consultant to work on consultancy projects, basically offering interpretation planning and visitor experience support to different wetland centres all over the world. So to talk about the sort of the types of things that I offer and I work on. So a big part of it is what we call interpretation planning. And that's both for indoor and outdoor spaces. So it's sort of providing that framework for engagement with visitors, from helping people sort of boil down what their key messages are and developing how they're going to communicate those, through to planning engagement activities. It might be exhibits, but it might be something that's not a physical thing, like looking at tours or activities, for example. We do work on a lot of new or developing wetland centres. So whether that's someone wanting to develop a wetland centre from scratch, or just sort of make improvements or developments, and looking at how that can be best done, bringing people and nature together sort of sensitively. So you're creating a space where people can have a great day out and a great experience, but so that it's not to the detriment of the wildlife that lives in that wetland as well. So how that can be done sensitively. And then I do things like exhibition research and content development, copywriting and editing. Look at a lot of things like how to best plan certain engagement for certain audiences as well, and how to sort of break down audiences and think about how you do what you're doing that's appropriate for them. So so that's the sort of project that I have been working on for the past 5 years, working all over the world on some really fabulous wetlands. And up until now, that has sort of purely been a consultancy thing. That's something that clients have had to pay for. But I'm really excited that I'm now joining the WLI team and going to be working much more closely with Chris and Connor. And I would say we're probably at the beginning of establishing how it is that we can work together. But ultimately, what we want to do is sort of take some of the things that I offer and take some of the things that WLI already does for its members and look at how we can bring them together and help people more, because ultimately we want visitors to wetlands to have an amazing time and to learn about wetlands and to care about wetlands and become ambassadors for wetlands. And so that's kind of where we are at the moment, I would say. Connor, does that sound fair?
Yeah, I think so. And you know, we're really happy to welcome you to the team because you have these amazing skills that I think for me and Chris, we're exposed to lots of best practice, but we haven't implemented it. So it's really helpful to have your perspective and skills and knowledge. But again, we're going to open the floor and get input from other people taking part about what they think you could help with within the capacity of WLI.
Absolutely, yeah. We'd be really interested to hear from WLI members what their sort of interpretation needs are, how they think they could benefit from, which areas they would like support, and what would that look like. Yeah, we're definitely at the stage where we want to listen to what people need, and whether that's done through some of the chats we have in a minute on this webinar, or if people want to get in touch with us after this is finished, then we'd really love to speak to people about what they want basically, and what help they would like.
Brilliant.